Hello, this is Kev.
And Lil. We're discussing relationships in all of its forms and everything in between.
We've been together over 30 years. We've seen some things together and apart.
So if you want to laugh or need advice, come spend some time with Kev and Lil.
Have we met? Hello, everybody, and we're back.
Finally.
Yeah. For those that were wondering, we had to take a little time off, not because it's the summer, but I had a little procedure done, and I was in quite a bit of pain. Had some kidney stone removal, and for those that have had that done before, you understand the pain. And it was funny.
You had surgery. It's not like you just had to pass them. You
Yeah,
had surgery
this time I actually had to have the surgery done. The stone was quite large. It was you saw the photo that because they had to break it up, and it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot of pieces. I want to say upwards of 40 pieces at least.
No, it was more than that. But it was.
Because
gross
there was some.
And it was a lot.
Yeah, there were small ones, and then there was the breaking up of the larger one.
Yeah.
But not to dive too much into that. But it's funny because before we had to take the break. We were gonna hit on this topic, and it sort of slides into this pretty well. It's here are ways to cope when someone you love faces a serious illness or injury. I wouldn't say it was that serious, but it was certainly uncomfortable. And kudos to the beautiful one here. She took really good care of me. I owe her a lot because I gotta tell you, man, I wouldn't say I was a baby, but I certainly would say that I was. She took care of me. At least not this time. I don't think I was a baby about it, right? I wasn't like whining or anything. But
you were whining, but you weren't a big baby.
Yeah, not like
you
if I had a cold.
You were in pain.
Yeah, that I was actually in pain. Yeah. I mean, there was a couple of nights there that I literally laid in bed and I was, which is sad for anybody that's trying to be a man. But no, sincerely, it was very uncomfortable. So, I haven't had to do this myself, take care of a loved one that's sick or illness or anything. Funny enough, Lil's got quite a bit of experience with it now. So we decided to touch on this, and it's more her episode. I will chime in, of course, as much as possible because I don't know when to shut up. But yeah, so I'll let her begin.
Well, like he stated, it's ways to cope when someone you love faces a serious illness or injury. My mother was diagnosed with cancer a few years ago.
4 years ago now, right?
Yeah.
I want to say about 4.
And she's been in remission
Actually,
for the past year.
More than 4. This was during the pandemic, so I want to say 5 years ago.
No, we didn't know. It was after the pandemic.
Sorry,
that
let me stop.
Okay. Yeah, so she's in remission, thank God, and but it's a type of cancer that doesn't go away. It just stays hidden, and then it could just pop up. But you could live a somewhat normal life if you do the proper treatments and stay on top
Tell
of
them
them.
the type of cancer.
It's multiple myeloma in the spine. It's basically like blood and bone cancer. So she was supposed to, after her treatment, she was supposed to get a bone marrow transplant on her spine, which is difficult operation, and but she basically could have went on living a regular life, doing her day-to-days, driving around, shopping like she likes to do, and but after the chemo, she was done. She was like, nope, not doing it. But like I said, thank God she's in remission. She's much better now. Unfortunately, Um, she still has to walk with a walker, and she has to do physical therapy because of her back. And she did have a couple of fractured vertebrae, fractured ribs. It was bad, guys. But thank God she got through it. She even caught COVID in the hospital while she was waiting for.
That was a scary time.
Yeah,
That was a very scary
she was in
time.
the ICU after that.
They
We
had
it was a
they
hit.
had to intubate. Remember?
Yeah,
I
she
remember
we
that
I
now.
didn't know she was gonna make it or not, and thank God she did, obviously. And I now know, and I always knew, but now I specifically know. You know how it is when someone passes and that's close to you, and then you're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. My condolences. I feel your pain." I don't think you do. You have to specifically go through that pain to really understand. Of course, we'll understand the loss of a loved one because obviously you'll be like, "Oh my God, I don't know what I would do." But while I was taking care of my mom, which was for a very long time, I barely got to see my family. I think I would come home once a week, and I would be so exhausted that I would like, I don't know, I would like pass out, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And sometimes not even pass out. Sometimes you would come to just grab clothes and leave.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot, guys. And there were certain things that I had to do to cope. I mean, of course, my family was worried, and I started seeing a therapist because it was getting really bad, and I wasn't taking care of myself at
Nope,
all.
not even a little bit.
I wasn't eating right. I was not sleeping whatsoever. I would she when she was awake, she didn't want me to leave the hospital. I had to be at the bedside all the time. And unfortunately, the only time I was able to get a little bit, because not even a little bit of time to myself, was when she was in the ICU. Like I said, unfortunately, she was there for 5 days. And um, I felt so guilty when I wasn't by her bedside, and I would take turns with my stepfather, and he is one of those people that are afraid of hospitals. Like the most he could stay in a hospital is an hour. And I would tell him, "Can you at least give me an hour and a half, 2 hours, so I could rush back home, take a shower, see if I could take a nap, and then rush back to the hospital." And that was me having time to myself. But I digress. I had to learn how to take care of myself. I had to start eating right. I was eating the crap that they sell at the hospitals, at the vending machines. Even though I try to do the healthy, but we all know, guys, if it's in a vending machine, it's not healthy. Granola bars are so horrible for you. I would eat nuts, but then I got sick of that, and I was trying to do the salads at the hospital, but they were bad. I wasn't eating. I was just drinking a lot of coffee to stay awake. And I I wouldn't even go to get a break. Like I would go to like the cafeteria of the hospital. I couldn't even leave the hospital because the hospital my mother was in Staten Island, and you had to drive to get something if you weren't in the hospital. So I barely went out. I would eat at the hospital, and that was my break. My break was either going to the restroom or getting something to eat. So I would either get like a fruit cup or something so I could bring it with me and I could eat it in the room. So um, I'm just trying to go in my head like I don't know how I did that. But my my support network was my family. And I took a lot out on them, like I would come home and I would snap about stupid things like, "I can't believe I've been gone all this week. You haven't even vacuumed the floor. You haven't done the laundry." Like I would pick on stupid things like that. And I was in a hospital one night, and most of the night, and when I felt like I was losing it, I would go for a walk. And for me, going for a walk was going to the bathroom. I would go to the furthest bathroom on that floor, and that would be my break. And even the nurses were like, "You should go home, take a shower, take a nap." And I don't know. I would go I would go to a coffee shop sometimes. That's my favorite place to go, like Barnes and Nobles when I'm like depressed, or I would go to Barnes and Nobles, buy a cup of coffee. I would watch YouTube videos because that relaxes me. My crafting videos. My biggest thing, I wouldn't sleep when I would go to bed. It's just I was running everything through my mind. Um, my husband was Kevin was telling me, "Babe, you got to talk to somebody because this is not good." Um, what else? I don't even remember. Wow, it was
So
like a blur to me.
so it was taxing. It was taxing. I'm gonna hate to have. Well, I'm not gonna hate to, but I'm gonna. I mean, I'm gonna bring up some bad stuff. Like, I I remember when she told me that her mom had been diagnosed with this cancer, and she turned to me and she goes, "I'm gonna quit my job." And I looked at her and I said, "What do you mean you're gonna quit your job? What are you talking about?" She goes, "Oh, I gotta take care of my mother." And I said, "Okay, I'm not gonna tell you not to quit your job. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be tough, financially, blah blah blah. First thing is, it took a while for you to find that job to begin with.
Yeah.
Um, on top of that, you I know your mother, and it's going to be an incredibly thankless job of taking care of her.
Hmm.
She we've touched on this we've touched on this from the first episode. Unfortunately, your mom's a narcissist, and she's very yeah, she's very me. You know what I mean? Regardless of how you feel, what you're going through, it does not matter. And she proved me right as always. She proved me right big time. I remember her saying stuff to you like, "Oh, you're supposed to take off. You're supposed to leave your job to take care of me. You're supposed to. You're supposed to." And it's like, no, she's not supposed to.
Yeah.
She wants to.
I'm. It was like the guilt trip is ridiculous with my family.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say all of them. Really, it's
No,
just your mother.
when I say my family, I mean my mom. I remember when she said that, and I was talking to my therapist, and the therapist was like, "It's you're not supposed to, you choose to." And I lost it one day when she was just throwing that in my face, and I was like, "Mom, I got to go back to work. I can't pay my bills." "Oh, well, what about your husband?" I'm like, "He's paying for everything, but we've always been a two
To income.
income family, and it's hard on us." And I was really and I still am. I still am bad to ask. I don't ask for help. I try and do it all on my own, and to a point that I would collapse from exhaustion, and I had to start asking for help, and my family started doing everything. They would take care of the house. They would take care of the bills, and my main focus was my mom. And thank God for my friends and my family that they were there for me. And there's a saying that say, "Help others, help yourself." And I wasn't helping myself. Um, I there's also something that they say is designate a communicator. I would contact most of my closest family and friends, and then I asked them to pass along the info because they would call me all the time, and it was exhausting having to repeat myself over and over again and telling them about the bad news and is she getting any better. And so I designated two family members to I would call them and give them the information, and then it was like a what is it, a something tree, a
Tree,
telephone tree,
telephone tree.
and they would tell everybody else. And then I would also post stuff on social media, and I was like, please, don't contact me if you need to contact me. It was very taxing. And I'm still doing therapy because it helped me a lot through that day, through that time. And I just want to say it's a thankless job, like he was saying. To this day, I still haven't been able to find work. Um, I'm trying to, I still help my mom. I still do stuff for her, but I try not to go there too much because it,
It's draining. It's emotionally draining.
yeah, it's like he said, it's a thankless job because she does not appreciate what we do, the sacrifices, and I don't want to call it sacrifices because I chose to help her. Um, we even talked about moving in with her so I wouldn't have to go back and forth because she's in Staten Island, I'm in Brooklyn. I had to pay a $18 toll every day if that was the case, plus the gas, plus the wear and tear on the car. So we were thinking of moving in with her, moving back to Staten Island, and so I could be there full time for her and my family would be with me. I wouldn't be all alone. She said no. She didn't want us to move in with her. She was like, I want to live in my house. And I said, well, Mom, if you're not going to move in with, if we're not going to move in with you, you're going to have to come and move in with us. No, I'm going to stay in my house. So there was no give and take. It was me, mine, the way, my way or the highway. And I lost it. I was like, okay, fine. Um, we had to go through a lot of medical bills. There was a lot of medical bills, a lot of legal fees, a lot of stuff that I had to prepare. And on top of her illness, I had to go through a lot with organizing her life, basically. She didn't have anything ready. That was another toll for me. And I just want to tell anybody who's listening now that please think about your family members. Think about the people you're going to leave behind. Prepare yourself for what is going to happen because everybody's going to die. Everybody dies. We're born and we die. Please get your things in order. Do not let your loved ones have to worry and go through that while they are mourning you or while they're trying to take care of you while you're during an illness. That's a lot to deal with. So please take care of organize your life. Take care of what needs to be taken care of so your family members won't have that additional um,
Strain.
strain on them.
It's and although I didn't go through it directly, we recently saw it with a good friend of mine that lives down in Florida. She was taking care of her mom. Her mom had Alzheimer's, and unfortunately, she recently passed. And when we went to see her in the end of January,
Hmm.
we spoke about this earlier. When we went to see her, down there, we spoke about it. And Lily and her, although they weren't close, I think they got a little closer because they shared
Hmm.
that part. And Lily was saying, "Oh, you know, at least you have your siblings where it's just me with my mom." And even this girl, friend of mine, she goes, "Oh, let me tell you something. I might be one of four,
Hmm.
but I'm by myself on this."
Hmm.
Even when I wanted to bring when I wanted to bring my parents, because she still sort of watches her dad, but her dad is pretty self sufficient at this point. Um, you know, they told her, or one of her siblings told her, they said, "You bring them down here, that's your problem.
Hmm.
I'm not going to help." And I was stunned when I heard this. I was like, wow. I remember when this sibling of hers had issues of their own, and the mom still took care of him and set him up down there, and because he had some real big problems here in New York, and he had to move down there and all this stuff. And I was like, man, does this guy not remember what his mom did for him his whole life? And don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting you to drop your entire life for your parent. I'm not. But that's pretty cold.
Yeah. Every time I talk to people, and even my therapist says, yeah, it doesn't matter if you're an only child or if you have siblings. Unfortunately, that's how it works. There's always one sibling or one child that has to take the full brunt. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know other people that they also share the responsibility, but begrudgingly, and usually there's one person that actually takes most of the.
Well, and then look at my mother, right? Look at my mom. My mom, my father was, I had told her years ago, and I mean years ago, like at least 10 to 12 years ago. I said, Mom, you can't, I, I'm not trying to be cold here, but Pop can't be home with you anymore. And she's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I said, well, clearly he's falling down.
Yeah.
And, you're not exactly a young woman anymore to
And
be
she's
helping this
tiny
guy up.
compared to.
And I remember she hurt herself. She hurt herself picking him up because she was starting to have to ask people in the building to come up and help her, pick him
When
up
he
off
fell,
the
yeah.
floor and stuff. And reluctantly she put him in a nursing home. But I got to tell you, on top of that, it didn't matter. She was at the nursing
Every
home
day.
every single
Practically the whole day.
day.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about she would get there like 9 a.m. She wouldn't leave till about 6. It was like her full-time job every single day.
Well, that's how it is. It's like a full-time job and then some.
But then she got sick herself. She got very ill. It was a couple of years into it, but she got very ill. My brother had to come, and he stayed with her for a little bit, and and I'm like, Ma, enough of this. You can't go to the hospital every
And then
single
COVID
day.
happened, so she couldn't go.
Well, when COVID hit, that was it. That was the
Yeah.
end. That was the end because, since he was in the nursing home, unfortunately, he was one of those that was part of those statistics where they didn't last in the nursing home. Yeah, and of course she got upset. She was like, oh, it was because I wasn't there. I said, no, no, Ma, no, no. It was because you were there that he lasted that long.
Yep.
Because I remember going with her to the emergency, or meeting her at the emergency room. And, a-hole doctor, I always tell this story, this one a-hole doctor in the freaking emergency room, he pops there, and don't get me wrong, I wasn't a big fan of his, but this doctor's like, well, he's going to die. He's going to die soon. And I just looked at her like, are you okay? And I remember one of the volunteers in the emergency room looked
Bedside
at me and
manner.
looked at this doctor, was like,
Horrible
yeah, are you
bedside
okay?
manner, yeah.
And I pulled this woman to the side, this doctor, and I'm like, he is laying right there. He may not have all his faculties, but he understands what you're saying. And she didn't really apologize. I guess she may have had a long day, but you know what? I don't give a crap. You have a long day, then go find another freaking job. Okay? But they gave him, at that time, they gave him probably 6 months, and he lasted like another year and a half. So, I felt bad for Mom because, Ma, again, she dedicated. She took those vows to heart, in sickness and in health. She really stuck
And
with them.
we talk about it till today about her taking care of him and what an ungrateful job, because I remember
Oh, he
when
was a jerk.
No,
Oh, come on.
but
He was
also
a jerk.
when he was losing it, like the Alzheimer's and the what is it called, the dementia started
he was
hitting.
past the dementia, though, at that point.
They start saying things like hurtful things, and I remember him saying things to her,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, Mom, she goes, yeah, but it's even though I knew it was the Alzheimer's or dementia, it still hurts.
Yeah, I believe.
And I know my
believe that.
mother, I mean, she did believe some of the stuff she said, and then she did apologize for other things, and I know it was because she was in pain, and she just wanted to die. At one point, I was so angry with her because she was like,
She was giving up.
Yeah, she was giving up, and she's like, I just want God to take me. And I'm like, that is not cool. I was like, I am here every day. I'm here all the time. So you just giving up. You don't care about your family wanting you to survive this, which you can. And all the doctors are like, this is not a death sentence. But as soon as she heard the C word, she gave up. She wanted to give up.
I got a C word for her. But no, it's, I think it's more of, as much as, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to downplay what you went through, but I think we're losing the focus on how
To cope.
to cope with it more than to.
You have to talk to people. You
Yeah,
have to
yeah. I mean, and it was one
support.
of those things, and it was one of those things where myself and our son, the younger one was like, "Ma, as much as we need therapy, you probably need it just as much, if not more." He goes, he would say it. He goes, "Ma, Grandma has put you through a lot, and we're not talking about just because she's sick. We're just talking about in life. She put you through a lot."
And when I was in therapy, I learned a lot. I Things that I didn't realize that were affecting me as an adult, things that me growing up that was done to me or by my mom and said to me, and I learned a lot through therapy. Like I said, I'm still doing therapy. I don't think I'm ever going to stop. If my insurance, or shall I say my husband's insurance, covers it, I will do it till I can no longer. But it has helped a lot. It's opened my eyes. It's helped me cope with and helped me cope with my mother's illness, which was a lot. I would cry every day. It was affecting my health. And support system, you have to have a support system. My support system was my family. And delegate as much as you can, which is very hard for
It
me.
was very hard. Even it's always hard for you because you feel like you can do it all on your own. I know you well enough that you feel you want to be Wonder Woman, and you're trying to be the superhero and try to do it all on your own. And I'm looking at you like, no, there's not a need. Now, don't get me wrong. Yeah, certain things, yeah, you can do. I'm not saying, and it's not that you can't do it. You shouldn't have to do it all.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to do it
I felt like,
all.
oh, it's my mom, it's my responsibility, but don't think that way. You need to take care of yourself. And don't think it's selfish, because if you don't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of your loved one? You have to take care of yourself first. Like they say in the airplanes,
Right. Put the mask on first and then assist the person next to you.
and that's what you have to do. You have to take care of yourself first in order to take care of other people, and take breaks. I didn't hardly take. Oh my God, my sciatica, my back. I was in so much pain, guys. I went through so much, and it was just because I was sitting there. I was afraid to leave her side, and like I said, my only break was walking to the furthest bathroom.
You know what's funny though? Were you afraid to leave her side?
Yes.
Or were you afraid to hear her mouth because
No,
you left her side?
I would feel guilty. I'm like, oh my God, what if something happens and I'm not here? Oh my God, what if, and I would be on top of the nurses and the doctors. I'm like, what are you giving her? What is that for? And how long do you have to give it to her for? And I would stay on top of them. I'm like, look, her IV bag is empty. And I was probably one of those annoying people at the hospitals that the nurses are like, but a lot of them, they understood. And they even would tell me, goes, listen, you're not getting, because I would apologize, like, I'm sorry, I must be getting on your nerves. And they're like, no, that's wonderful that you're there by your mother's side. And then they would tell me, you got to take care of yourself. Go home, take a shower, take a nap. Um, but we don't do that. We don't sleep, or at least I do.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Yeah, and talk
So,
about it. You have to talk to people, not only therapists, but talk to people, your friends. A lot of my friends didn't know a lot of stuff that I was going through until much later, that we start going to brunches and getting together more often. And you got to talk about it. You got to talk about it. You need a support system.
brunches. Um,
He's just jealous because he's not invited.
no, I am invited. I choose not to go.
You're not invited.
Okay, dear. All right, I'm not invited then. Yeah. Oh no, gosh help me. I'm not invited. Oh, boo-hoo.
Whatever.
But yeah, we wanted to talk about this. We wanted to discuss it just in case people are going through certain things. And like we always say, um, go. Yeah, we're not pros here. We've had our
We just,
experiences.
yeah.
We've had our experiences with things, and we've had our experiences with each other, with others, and so forth. But absolutely, seek therapy if you need it. Seek a counselor if you need it. Go to your primary care physician and see if maybe it's a chemical thing or whatever. and get yourself checked out,
Yeah.
because you never know. You don't know what you may have as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
As much as you want to take care of someone else, you may not be well yourself,
Yeah.
and you're not even realizing it. So go see your doctor. Check yourself out. Get the finger in the butt. Whatever you got to do, and stick the thing in your ear, down your throat. Um, but no, sincerely, just make sure you're checking yourself out. All right. I think that's about it from us. This
Mm-hmm.
one's a quicker one than normal,
Yeah.
surprisingly, but I think this mostly because this was affecting you more than me, so I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have as much. But yeah,
But we all went through it. Like I think the biggest thing there is take care of yourself. Take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. Have a support system. Speak to someone. Designate people like you have to. What was the word?
delegate.
Delegate to your friends and family, and if they're truly your friends and your family cares enough about you, they will help you. They're there for you. And seek help. Talk to a therapist.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for listening.
Bye.
See you soon. Certainly comment, criticize,
Yes.
do whatever you got to do. I really don't care, because I don't really care about your opinions that much.
Like,
No, I'm joking.
comment, share.
Comment, share, like. And do it on any of one of the platforms. We're on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
All the social medias.
And yes, we're on the social media stuff too. So please certainly comment there. I don't have boogers this time, which is good.
We
But yeah,
apologize for waiting so long, but
yeah,
somebody
it's one of
was
those
not
things.
feeling
I
well.
wasn't feeling well, so not
And it's
boo-hoo
Kevin
me.
and Lil. It's just not Lil. It's
Yes.
Kevin and Lil.
Kev
So
and
Lil
Lil.
couldn't come here.
Yeah, it's
By the
both
way,
of
I
us.
don't know how to do any of this stuff, so
No, it's funny enough she doesn't. Surprisingly, she doesn't, because she's usually pretty good at stuff like that.
I am.
But yeah. So thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Later, y'all.